It is now confirmed, my friends, that Donald Trump will be appearing on the Joe Rogan Experience this Friday. I don't know if that means the show will be live on Friday. We know that Trump is going to sit down with Joe Rogan on Friday. That's what's been reported, but the reporting may be wrong. They may do the interview early, post it later. They may do it the day before. And it may be that Rogan has confirmed on Friday, the interview will go live. The media then says it's on Friday. So we shall see. Now, a lot of people are saying this will seal the deal. Donald Trump sitting down with Joe Rogan for 2 or 3 hours, maybe longer, is going to push Donald Trump over the top. Already in the prediction and betting markets, Trump is favored to win 2-1. And now we are seeing this on Polymarket. 50% are suggesting a Republican sweep in this election. Now, I know, my friends, there is a shadow campaign, perhaps, and we don't know exactly how this will play out. Certainly people believe Trump and the Republicans will win, but I don't know what that means largely because the Democrats are strategic and tactical. That being said, Kamala Harris just did an interview on NBC and it did not go well. It didn't go well. Kamala was asked, what's different about your campaign? She's like, I'm a woman. Ooh, we've tried that one, lady. That one doesn't work. She also says that she was completely honest with the American people about Joe Biden's mental acuity. But no one's buying this. This is why I say every time Kamala Harris does these interviews, things just get worse for her. So let's take a look. But there's a big question I have. And I'm waiting for all of the liberals and the leftists to have their collective outrage when I mention I don't think Kamala Harris can win because she's a woman. Indeed, I certainly think a woman can be president. I personally am a big fan of Tulsi Gabbard, who just announced she is joining the Republican Party. Supported her in 2019 for the Democrat ticket and have been a big fan since then, as I believe she is a principled and strong-willed individual. Tulsi's fantastic. If Tulsi was running for president, she has my vote. I am not concerned with a woman president, though many are. The reason why I say that I don't believe Kamala Harris can win because she's a woman is not to disparage her for being a woman. It's take a look at the polls. When 80% of people say they agree a woman can be president, that means you are losing 20% of the vote. You can't win. Look, if Kamala Harris lost even 2 points, 3, 4, whatever, even a single point for being a woman, this is giving Trump a massive advantage. But when you look at the polls, when they ask people, do you believe a woman can be president? And 20% disagree. I don't know how many of those are just going to say, I'm not voting for a woman. Maybe they're saying she could never win, but I'd like to have one. Maybe they're saying nobody would vote for her. Maybe they're saying I would never vote for her. But so long as there are people who say I won't vote for a woman, she's not going to earn that support. And that's going to be a detriment to a female candidacy. Perhaps you believe that's unfortunate. I just think it's reality. And I have the data to show you. I believe that there are people who will not vote for a woman because she is a woman, even if she is someone who is great, like Tulsi Gabbard. But we'll go over this. Before we do, my friends, today we have a sponsor. Go to preservegold.com/TimPool. We have a presidential election around the corner, and it's impossible to predict what will happen. However, wherever there's uncertainty, whether political or economic, demand for gold tends to go up. Financial experts are urging Americans to prepare now. With inflation soaring, a border crisis affecting cities and small towns, and warnings of a recession, my friends, we are living in insane, unpredictable times. To protect your retirement accounts and 401ks, you should strongly consider physical gold and silver. Right now, Preserve Gold has an exclusive offer for my viewers where you can get up to $15,000 in free gold and silver with a qualified purchase, as well as a free guide. Text Tim to 50505 to learn more or visit preservegold.com/Timpool. Preserve Gold has hundreds of 5-star reviews and millions of dollars in trusted transactions with happy clients. And I'll just stress when they say we have an election around the corner, we're 13 days out. By the time Donald Trump goes on Joe Rogan on Friday, it will be only about a week and a half until election day. And already, my friends, we got the data. You see, we're no longer just in an election day cycle where November 5th would be the day we all go out and cast our ballots. No, we're in election month and the data's already come in. We are starting to see absentee ballot request data coming in showing a massive boost for the GOP. Democrats need to lead on absentee and early voting, and they are in some places and they're not in others. The Republicans have gained massively, suggesting Republican victory. But we don't know for sure. In the meantime, let's take a look at how Kamala Harris is handling her interviews. Fox News says Harris claims she was honest with the American people about Biden's mental acuity, capable in every way. NBC News' Haley Jackson pressed the vice president on her judgment during an interview. There's no escaping this. And I got to say, when the corporate press has resigned to just being like, Kamala, you're no good. The LA Times is refusing to endorse. You guys see this story? Take a look at this. LA Times declines to endorse Kamala Harris after backing Dems since 2008. So that's basically just Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, and Joe Biden. That's a long time, I guess. They're not going to back Kamala Harris. The corporate press is effectively bowing out.
You defended him in the days before and in the days after as you were campaigning for another 4 years for President Biden. Can you say that you were honest with the American people about what you saw in those moments with President Biden as you were with him again and again, repeatedly in that time?
Look at this.
Of course. Joe Biden is an extremely accomplished, experienced, and capable in every way that anyone would want if they're president.
And you never saw anything like what happened at the debate.
That's why they booted him?
Behind closed doors with him?
It was a bad debate. People have bad debates. He is absolutely.
But that's the reason why you're here, and he's not running for the top of the ticket.
Well, you'd have to ask him if that's the only reason why.
Wow.
What do you think?
Wow.
I am running for president of the United States. Joe Biden is not.
Yo, that was wild. The idea that I like when she says he's a guy that, he's strong and anybody would want as their president. No, they got rid of him. They got rid of him. Lest we forget, my friends, Trinidad Shabbat pressure, Batacalf care, next fluorescent. There's way more. We call them Biden-isms. True internet Shabbat pressure. Can I just, and I know there may be some of you who are new here and you're saying, what is this gibberish word, Tim, you muttered? True internet Shabbat pressure? I don't know. Ask Joe Biden what it means, because that and Batacalf care were key components of his campaign strategy. What did he say? We're going to provide Batacalf care. And I'm like, did he mean to say like better half cost health care or something? I got no idea. We're going to get rid of bad health care. Some people believe true internet Shabbat pressure was meant to say true international cooperation under pressure. I don't know. But let me tell you, Kamala, the idea that while that was going on, you were sitting there being like, this guy's brilliant. If you really believe that, you should not be anywhere near the presidency. You're looking at Joe Biden being like, digital burp. And you're like, wow. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'd like you not to be president. Okay. The reality is she's lying, because anybody with eyes to see could tell that Joe Biden's brain was fried. And now they're trying to play this game where like, well, Donald Trump is very old too. He is. Trump would be the oldest president, I believe, if he does win. But Trump is spry. He is. I mean, look, you don't get to complain that Donald Trump is crude and crass and then argue that he's too old and his brain don't work. Donald Trump is lucid. He speaks, and I get it. He's an old guy, but he can have a conversation, speak clearly, and insult people with rigor. Joe Biden said Trinidad Shabbat pressure over and over and over again. Well, my friends, what comes next? Harris says, of course, her team is prepared if Trump declares victory before the votes are counted. I love whatever this election cycle is going to be. Welcome to the crazy timeline.
We are sitting here 2 weeks away from election night. Last election, the former president came out on election night and declared victory before all the votes were counted.
Oh, please. I'm going to pause there. You know what, man? Donald Trump declared victory when election night ended and he was ahead, and all of the current tally said he won. And now we're playing this game where it's like, well, we need a couple days to figure out what's going on here. No. Here's my rule. The Constitution of these United States says that there is an election day. And when that election day is over, we announce who the victor was. We're playing this stupid game now where Maricopa County is like, we're going to need a couple weeks to figure this one out. Oh, okay, please. Like anyone believes that's legit. But you know what? None of it matters, my friends. Democrats will justify every vote must count, which means we need 2 weeks to figure this one out. I say no. I say we have election day. I'm sorry. Get your votes, cut off early voting a week out, and then start counting the early votes a week out. And then you end by election day. I believe we should say this. All votes must be counted and tallied on election day. Done. Any ballot that comes in afterwards is void. Too bad. Too bad. Oh, they'll play other games. The Democrats will be like, this Republican county mailed in these ballots and we just lost the bag. But they could do that now anyway. It should be that on election day, we stop at midnight. All votes that have not been counted are cut off, and that is per the Constitution. It also says the states can handle their elections through their legislature as they see fit. But it also says we have one day. I say at midnight, November 6th, no more. That's it. The votes that are in, and if you failed as a state to properly count this, that's too bad. And that's Republicans, too.
What's your plan if he does that again in 2 weeks?
Well, let me say this. We've got 2 weeks to go. And I'm very much grounded in the present in terms of the task at hand. And we will deal with election night and the days after as they come. And we have the resources and the expertise and the focus on that as well.
I'm sorry. I got to pause because I have to say this. Kamala Harris uses many words to say nothing. And I said this when she did the Fox interview with Brett Baer. I have never seen someone use so many words to say so little. What is this? It took her 10 seconds to say nothing. What do you do? Here's the question. What do you do if Donald Trump declares victory before the counts come in? I would say we have a plan. Obviously, there's going to be some legal issues there, but we're going to focus on the here and now. I want to try and win an election. Thank you. Next question.
So you have teams ready to go? Is that what you're saying? Are you thinking about that as a possibility?
Of course. This is a person, Donald Trump, who tried to undo a free and fair election, who still denies the will of the people.
I don't care. You know what? I'm going to give this one to Democrats. I don't care. Donald Trump claimed he won in 2020. Yeah, well, y'all claimed you won in 2016. What do I care? Look, Republicans are going to come out and be like, the election was stolen in 2020. And I'm like, I don't know, maybe it was. And they're going to say the election was stolen in 2016. And I'm going to be like, actually, we kind of proved that it wasn't. You had the whole Russia investigation, okay? 2020, I think, you look at Gallup and you can see predictive functions that show Democrats were on track to win. But their ground game was better. Now, you can talk about absentee ballots, voter signature verification and things like this. And I agree. Signature verification was lax. Texas v. Pennsylvania was never resolved. Totally agree. I believe Democrats had an edge, but used procedural advantages over the Republicans to win that election. I think there was something similar probably in 2000. I don't know. But who ended up in the White House? Either way, the argument doesn't work on me in any capacity because y'all denied 2016. So even if it were true that 2020 was free and fair and perfect and Donald Trump, and I'm saying this as a whole, if the election was totally perfect and then Donald Trump said, overturn it, even though it was perfect, I don't care. Because y'all did the same thing in 2016 and accused Trump of being a Soviet spy. I'm not kidding. Jonathan Chait went on MSNBC. I think it was MSNBC or was it NBC News. And he was like, Trump may have been a Russian asset since the 80s. I'm like, bro, the 80s, that was the Soviet Union. You think Trump's KGB?
Who incited a violent mob to attack the United States Capitol, and 140 law enforcement officers were attacked. Some were killed.
Nope, that's a lie. Not a single officer lost their life on January 6th. They try to make the argument that, well, actually, afterwards, some officers did die from what we believe to be, okay, one guy died of natural causes afterwards. The only person who died on January 6th, actually, there were a couple, I believe, but the only person who died due to direct violence was Ashley Babbitt.
This is a serious matter. The American people are, at this point, 2 weeks out, being presented with a very, very serious decision about what will be the future of our country. She
talks so long to say nothing. I can't stand it. Very, very serious question about the future. Let's try this. Let's go back. I'm going to make you listen to this again.
Being presented with a very, very serious decision about what will be the future of our country.
She could have said that in half the time, a quarter of the time. The American people are presented with a decision about what this country is going to look like. And carry on, ma'am. No, she patters for time. She vamps. She's fluffing. I'm not interested. Now, we do got some. Here you go. Check this one out. This one's great. Trump War Room posted this one.
You've been reluctant to lean into, to talk about the historic nature of your candidacy on the campaign trail. Why is that?
Well, I'm clearly a woman. I don't need to point that out to anyone. The point that most people really care about is, can you do the job? And do you have a plan to actually focus on them?
I hear you on
and
that.
That is why I spend the majority of my time listening and then addressing the concerns, the challenges, the dreams, the ambitions, and the aspirations of.
She just does this all the time. I just can't take it, dude. You know what? Even if she had the best plan in the world, I'm not voting for her because she just says a bunch of garbled. Blah, 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 blah. Dude, listen.
Do the job, and do you have a plan to actually focus on them?
I hear you on
and
that.
that is why I spend.
She interrupts the journalist, the reporter, so that she can say this.
And the majority of my time listening and then addressing the concerns, the challenges, the dreams, the ambitions, and the aspirations of the American people.
It took her 10 seconds to say, that is why I listen to my constituents and I focus on what they want. Dude, you could have done that in 2. She is wasting time intentionally so that she can sit down for an interview, say she did, and not have to actually expose herself. But my friends, I had to say it. I mean, here's a story from The Guardian. The U.S. is absolutely ready for a female president, Harris says in an NBC interview. The VP says she's focused on the challenges, the dreams of the Americans, as opposed to Trump, who is focused on himself. Yeah, sure. Donald Trump, who lost net worth, is only focused on himself. Man, Donald Trump has large buildings with his name in gold on them. By running for president, they've threatened to put him in jail. They've accused him of all sorts of crazy nonsense. The dude is sacrificing a whole lot to be president. I don't know that I agree that he's just doing it for himself. I certainly think the man has an ego. Certainly. I believe a component of this is his dream and his desires. But I think Trump is also looking at fixing this country. Kamala Harris said she has no doubt the U.S. was ready for a female president. Wrong. You only got to look at the polls, ma'am. And I'm not trying to be a dick. We got this from U.S. News, September 5th. Is the U.S. ready for a woman president? 68% of young people in swing states say yes. Oh, 68. More than 80% of young people in swing states said a woman could be an effective leader, according to an exclusive U.S. News poll, but opinions differ based on gender and political affiliation. So first of all, this is mostly young people. In 1937, the American public was asked for the first time by Gallup if they would consider voting for a woman. 33% said yes. That's it. Sentiment has changed. More than 80% of young voters in key battleground states said that a woman could be an effective president and strong leader, according to an exclusive U.S. News poll conducted by among more than 2,000 young people 18 to 34. Okay, here are your numbers. First of all, it's 18 to 34, and they say 57 strongly agree, 25 said they agree. Well, that's good. I mean, we're looking at 82%, right? I mean, that's not bad. 12 neither agree nor disagree. 3 said they disagree. 3 strongly disagree. And these are 18 to 34-year-olds. When considering gender, a slightly larger share of men disagreed about a woman's ability to be effective leader, blah, blah, blah. When the respondents were asked not whether women were capable, but if America was ready to elect a woman president, 68% agreed the country was ready, but 10 disagreed among the respondents. The overall margin of error was 2.2%. Now, this is a young person vote. And let me explain. Older people, I think the margins would be a lot higher. But if 18% of people are either not sure or saying no, you're losing votes through nothing other than being a woman. Let's say if these 12% neither agree nor disagree, right? They're like, I honestly don't know. Election comes. Let's split that number in half and say half of them are like, nah, a woman can't be president. We're looking at 12% that say no. But let's not even do that. Let's say all of the people, every single one right now who is undecided, says, you know what? I've been convinced. You have 6% disagreeing that a woman could be an effective leader. You mean to tell me that a female president will have to overcome a 6-point bias in favor of the other candidate simply because he's a dude? I am not saying a woman can't be president. I like Tulsi Gabbard a lot. She's fantastic. Excellent leader. And I look forward to seeing how her career continues to develop. Because I supported her in 2019. I think she's fantastic. Some people have criticized her over policy positions she's held in the past. And it's fair. It's fair. She was not as strong on gun rights. She's improved. She was not as strong on nuclear energy. She's improved. She's a smart person, a good leader with military experience. And I respect it. She leans towards truth. And that's what matters. I think she could be president. We'll see. But even for Tulsi Gabbard, if 6% of young people Okay, the reason I say young people is we know older people are going to say women cannot be president. When these young people, 18 to 34, and we're talking like Gen Z and young millennials, 30 years from now, when it's 48 to 64, you are going to have one of the largest voting blocs saying outright, I still think at a 6-point disadvantage, a woman cannot be president. That means right now, it doesn't matter who Kamala Harris is. It doesn't matter who Trump is. If Kamala Harris stands up and Trump and Kamala are right there, people are going to be like, no woman. That's it. Kamala is going to lose 6 points simply for being a woman. Maybe not 6, but at least 1 or 2, right? If 2 men run, that bias is erased and it will factor in other places. I am outright telling you guys right now, there is an inherent sexism in this country. People won't vote for a woman, even if it was Tulsi Gabbard. That's it. And you know what? I know probably a lot of people watching are like, agreed, would never vote for a woman, don't care. It's never going to change. And well, so long as that mentality exists, it's going to be extremely difficult for a woman to win. The only way a woman wins is if both candidates are women, and that's your principal choice. But I do think times they are changing, so we'll see. As of right now, my friends, we just saw, so it just ticked down a little bit. At the start of this, Republican sweep on poly market had 50%, meaning the majority. Right now, it's 49%, giving it the plurality. But with $40 million on the line, there it is, my friends. Now, fascinating. One thing that is, fascinatingly, in the presidential election, you've got $2 billion bet on this election, and it is 2-1 Donald Trump right now. Just about 2-1, with $729 million bet on Trump to win. It's going to be interesting. The reason where all this money comes from is you had $100 million on Nikki Haley. People were making big bets. AOC had $21 million. That's funny. Kanye had $8 million. But the way this works is they're prediction markets, meaning if you bought a share of Kanye West at a cent and then it jumped to 5 cents, you could sell at 5 cents, make a lot of money. Doesn't mean people actually thought they were going to win. This is where we're at. Kamala Harris is only going to do worse every time she goes out and does these interviews because she sucks at it. Donald Trump is going to go on Joe Rogan, and the expectation is it's going to be one of the greatest podcasts of all time. I imagine the first thing that we're going to hear Joe say is, are aliens real? That may be the first question Joe has. Now, some people believe that Joe may actually go after Donald Trump. I don't think so. What I mean to say is, I think Joe will give a fair and honest interview it'll be a real conversation. Joe is going to have a conversation with Trump. He will question Trump if Trump says something that is absurd, and Trump will give an answer. I'll give you an example. Ian Crossland on IRL criticized Donald Trump for saying, nobody leaves my rallies. Nobody. Of course people leave his rallies. If Joe says, during the debate, Kamala said that people are leaving your rallies because they don't want to be there. I mean, what's that all about? And then Trump says, nobody leaves my rallies. We have the best rallies. Nobody leaves. Joe's going to be like, nobody leaves, like not even one person. And Trump's going to be like, I'm exaggerating. I'm saying that people come, they enjoy the rallies. That's it. And I really don't see Joe acting that way because Joe's not dumb. So when Trump says, I'm being hyperbolic, I just mean for the most part, people are hanging out and they enjoy the rallies till they're over. And that's a fact. And then Joe's like, okay, I know, I get that. When they come out and they're like, how dare he say no one ever leave? It's like, oh, you know what he means. No, he's lying. Oh, no, he's not. Are you unable to understand hyperbole? Well, but being hyperbolic is lying. Yeah, and telling jokes is lying? Spare me. Well, my friends, we are 13 days out. I hope you're ready. It's going to be a lot of fun. Smash that like button, subscribe to the show, share it with everyone you know. Follow me on X and Instagram at Timcast. Give us a good review if you're listening on the audio podcast. You made it this far. You must love the show. And if you do like it, we could use your support. 5 stars, a good rating, really does help out the show. And next segment will be coming up in a little bit. For those listening on the audio side, it's all one straight, clean show. So check us out on Apple and all of the podcast platforms. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. We're back soon with the next segment on this YouTube channel, and we'll see you all then.